wow, Tat's got me set up with this snappy music. I love it. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Northrop on the Short Porch, where we have the best seat in the house every day behind Aaron James Judd. Judge. Why did I say Judd? Because I'm nervous. Join me and my friends Donald, Lynn, and Chris. And if you need to know more about them, I'll let them talk at the end and give you their how you can reach them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment so we can talk to you. And thanks for joining us today. There are more expensive seats at Yankee Stadium, but not better ones. And this podcast, well, I decided that I wanted to sit in the short porch. I always wished I could. I actually never wished I could sit in the judge's chambers because I never wanted to be in that garb. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, yeah. So, but measuring 314 feet from home plate, the right field wall at Yankee Stadium is technically the third shortest distance in the majors. Originally a thank you present to Babe Ruth when Yankee Stadium was built. It's just a regular wall. It's a very short distance away, but it's been the scene of many dramas, occupying an unforgettable place, not only in Yankee history, but in baseball history. After all, without the short porch, there's no Mr. November. So let's enjoy the view together. We've got the greatest right fielder the game may have ever seen. Certainly the greatest right fielder in Yankees history. And I've got my friends here to help answer any questions and to help throw it all together for us. So let's get started. WBC, I know we have to start there. Who would like to jump in on this infamy?
You know what? I got into it a little bit today. I still can't believe what happened last night. Going into that game, not knowing about the tiebreakers and the Team USA needing to win that game last night. It's really embarrassing for Team USA not to go into that game knowing that they had to win, right? I mean, we talk about Boone mismanaging so much, and he even never did anything as bad as this. At least I don't think so. This is really bad. It's horrible. I mean, seeing Goldschmidt at first base instead of Harper, second base, you got Clement instead of Terang, or even Bregman could have started there because I know they moved DeWitt over to third and Gunnar played short. PCA played great in center. I don't mind him starting over Buxton, but that was horrible. It was horrendous, and then you seen Kershaw warming up in like the 7th or 8th inning, which was mind-boggling when the game was starting to get close, or even whatever it was. No ways that guy should be in the game, right? So it was really embarrassing for Team USA. Now we're watching tonight's Mexico-Italy game and hoping either Italy wins outright or Mexico wins by 5 runs or by scoring 5 runs or more, right? So
yeah, right.
Why are we even in this situation? And we're supposed to be the dream team.
Embarrassing.
It's just embarrassing.
Lynn, what do you think? What is your thought on the role Judge may or may not have played in the whole thing?
Judge has zero accountability here. He is not the manager.
Thank you very much.
He's the de facto captain of Team USA. He is not the manager. This is all on De Rosa, like che fa, as they would say in Italian. Well, vaffanculo, as they would say in Italian.
Oh yeah. I didn't know this was getting dirty. Well,
pardon my Italian. Yeah.
Is that cheese?
And I just
want Italian to me, Lynn. I love it.
It's just going to go off the rails real quick.
I only know the curse words, and I know how
Even
to say.
better.
I know how to say.
You can teach me some off there.
Well, I have a little Japanese twist then on this because I saw a Japanese article today that I don't read Japanese. It was translated. And it said this: Aaron Judge's performance in the regular season is unquestionable. I mean, that was just so stuffy. but he can't play with critical moments. Commentaries also mention his past up and downs in the playoffs, and criticism rose as a result of his WC performance last night.
Okay, did they watch any of the other games or just last night?
I don't know. I assume that you're right, but that kind of cracked me up actually. But I mean, this is coming across from the Japanese, so I mean, even they're saying criticism rose.
Get off the Otani pages, Chris.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Well taken. I haven't even been looking at Otani in this whole thing, because really it's just been all Team USA for me. I've been enjoying really that 100%.
Right.
I mean, Judge, I don't really care if idiots out there think Judge is somehow should have been somehow advising his manager, which I don't think is a player's role. I mean, I could see maybe a nudge. I don't know, but just it's nobody else noticed. Lots of other people had eyes and hands on this before. I mean, Judge was by far not the closest person to the situation at that time, really. Not to the decision-making stuff.
Right. I mean, who is DeRosa's Posada in this situation that could have just like clued him in? And Posada was on the wrong side, wrong dugout. But
yep.
He had advisors around him.
He's the manager. He should know. Period. End of story. As the manager, you should know going into a game, do we need to win this game? And then the night before, after they beat Mexico, they celebrated, right? They didn't get back to the hotel till after 12:30, so then he made a comment, some of the guys were dragging today, coming into the game. Like, no. You don't say that.
What a bad look.
Before a game that you need to win. Come on. It's embarrassing. It just shows you. Just horrible. They got a guy, listen, and I love DeRosa on TV. He's a great guy on MLB Central, right? He's awesome. Yeah, but you know what? He's not a manager. We need a real Major League Baseball manager to coach these guys.
Let him stay in the studio and analyze. I'm with you, Chris.
Yeah.
What terrifying admission right there from DeRosa. That speaks to a lack of preparation. It speaks to a lack of taking this seriously. Are they taking this seriously? Because the evidence tends to be that they aren't. If your manager isn't aware of the connotations going into a game, then that's a responsibility on him as well as his coaching staff. And it's a very poor reflection on what is going on right there. Yeah. It's a poor reflection on him as a manager. I mean, any manager of anything, you have to be prepared. Chris was freaking prepared for this freaking show. People are prepared. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be prepared, right? Yeah.
If you're going to manage,
you've known exactly what the freaking state of play was, win or lose. And the fact is, he had no idea. Speaks to the fact he just doesn't seem to give a shit. And if so, then maybe we should find somebody who does give a shit.
Well, or he had such he believed in that team so much that he didn't think it needed him. I mean, did he think that like Judge and Harper and those guys could run it out there and do it without being managed? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm
thinking about the dream team in NBA, the NBA's dream team. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Steve Kerr. I think Steve Kerr would ever say during the Olympics, going, we kind of partied a bit hard last night. So to be fair, we weren't really quite into this one. That would never freaking happen.
Yeah.
And so why is it different for baseball? Because they are still representing their country. You're representing the flag. You're representing your country. You should be taking that seriously.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone takes it seriously. And I mean, what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to go through the rule book? And by the way, these rules are absurd. I don't even know what the rules book. So
I agree.
They're absurd. What you have to score 4+ runs, this and 6 or 4. Shut the fuck up. It's fucking baseball. You either win or you lose. Right?
This record you're in.
Exactly. You win or you in. I mean, that's ridiculous, but that's still not Judge's responsibility. He's the captain. He's the captain of his playing squad. He's captain of his dudes. But at the end of the day, it's the coaching staff's responsibility to put them in a position to win.
Right.
Clearly, DeRosa didn't do that. Gave me a lot of Aaron Boone vibes, but I don't even think Aaron Boone would do anything as dumb as that, because say what you want about Aaron Boone, he is a very prepared person.
And he's also loyal to his guys.
He's very prepared. He's very loyal, and he wouldn't say anything stupid like, "Oh, we were kind of partying last night." So you can really
they're hungover. They were
it's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
and whether he's doing a media appearance, or whether he's on WFAN, or whether he's on Talking Yanks, or whether he's managing a game, he is a prepared manager. He's always prepared. He knows what he's going to say, and he knows how he's going to communicate it. That's what he's very good at.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm a big Aaron Boone fan, but I'm just giving him his flowers for what he's good at. That's what he's good at. And he wouldn't have done that yesterday. So that is a big, frightening L.
And since I saw more than one person, plenty of people actually lifting him up as a potential manager to replace Boone. DeRosa cannot even show his face on the Queens side of the New York City. He will not make it 30 seconds in the Bronx after what happened last night.
Definitely not. Like, if you can't be prepared for a tournament like that, you're going to prepare a team for an 162 game season? Come on.
Right.
One thing all you have to do is, like before the Mexico game, right? Before they played Mexico, he should have been like, all right, we win this game. Are we done, or do we need that game 4? They would have been like, you're not done. You're still going to have to win, the next game. All right, no problem. Tell the boys, listen, there's no celebration. We didn't clinch nothing, right? After this, we got a game tomorrow against a tough Italy team, whatever. Get the guys ready. You already gave them the mindset, like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We're locked in. We're going into the quarterfinals now, so we're good. So we could party a little bit tonight, hang out. No, take it serious. And by the way, we just seen Team USA hockey in men's and women, right? Go in there and win the gold against, Canada, who owns hockey, right? And we beat them both, right? Men's and women, because they had the right mindset. They were prepared. Yeah, they were a better team also, but you know what? They were also prepared and ready to win. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got this game, we're good.
Right. You play to win. You don't play to party.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And just to kind of put a bow on this conversation, so we don't spend all night on it, may I mention the last manager to win the WBC, Jimmy Leland? I mean, is there a bigger contrast between what was, who was at the helm and DeRosa? I mean, a broadcaster, Jimmy Leland's like gold, and he's the gold. So I just
I see a comment right there by I guess it's Bobby, right? Bobby Tats. Do you think the situation will cause DeRosa a manager job in Major League Baseball?
I do.
100% it will. It
100%.
definitely will. If they don't back in now into the quarterfinals and go all the way, at least to the finals, it's definitely going to cause them. I bet. Listen, if they get to the finals, a lot of things are going to be forgotten, right? It's going to be like, hey, you led the team, blah blah blah. But you know what? If they don't get there, oh, definitely. I mean,
maybe the A's will take them. I don't know.
Depends on the market. I'm never going to put anything past the smaller market teams.
That's true. You're right. That's right.
Pirates. These
Colorado,
teams.
maybe.
Colorado is perfect for him. So, I'll never put it past the small market teams.
There you go.
To try and pull a fast one on their fans.
I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to move on a little bit and kind of segue into Judge. I wanted just to see if the WBC, if he was living up to expectations, if you thought that this, maybe preceded what would be a great year. What are your thoughts on what's going on with Judge? And I mean, the disrespect out there. I'm dying from that, but.
Good, ladies first.
Well, I know we were talking before we jumped on that I'm really done with the Judge versus Ohtani experiment. But Ohtani is worldwide, right? And we know from polls and other things that Judge not so much, right? So I think that his performance, and hey, obviously he's a party guy per DeRosa. That's what the world thinks of him now, as part of that. But I think Judge was so well, represented himself well during this classic so far, with the exception of last night, that I do think he's getting more visibility this time around. And as far as I'm concerned, the international appeal, I really don't care much about that. Okay. What I care about is I'm very self-centered. I'm very Yankee-centered. I care about how we feel about our team and our faith in our team, more than I care about if someone's wearing a Yankee cap, or a 99 shirt, or drinking only Pepsi. I care less about that than what we have here at home with them.
Fair enough. I'd like to see Judge have the same level of respect and adoration, because Judge is my hero at this point. I think that after watching him since 2017 ascend to what I think now are becoming, pretty good height there. I mean, he's how many more years are we going to have of Judge ascending? Probably not even, maybe none. I don't know. He's, how old is Judge? 33?
I think he's 33 now. He'll be 34 I think next month, right?
34 now. So I don't know. You're right. It doesn't. What he does in Yankee Stadium is what matters. I get that. Yeah, you're right.
What do you guys think? I'm talking a lot.
So,
yeah, Donna.
My thoughts on this are, I actually separate the two things. I think they're apples and pears. I think him being captain of the United States and being captain of the Yankees, his performances for either thing should be kept separate. I think it's unfair just to wrap them all together, because baseball is the great equalizer. You're going to have some at bats where it just doesn't go your way, and it's not a reflection on your ability, because Hall of Famers in general, in fact, 100% of the time, if you fail 70% of the time, you're 100% going to the Hall of Fame, right? Because if you bat 300, you're still failing 70% of the time. But because that's why baseball is one of the great sports, one of the great equalizers. It's an incredibly hard sport. It's the hardest sport in the world, bar none, right? So you have to give them that little bit of like, you know what, a slump can happen. You could shoot yourself out of a slump in the NBA. In baseball, a slump can be either 2 games, or it could be a month, or 2 months, or an entire season if you're Cody Bellinger. So,
like I would slip that in there.
Oh, you like that one, huh?
Yeah.
It's
but
true.
that's true. It is true though. So
yeah, it is.
Whether he has a bad couple of games for Team USA has no bearing on who he is as a player or a person. He is a phenomenal person. He is a phenomenal leader, and he is a phenomenal player, regardless of what happens with Team USA. Now, you can still make the argument, does he need this for his legacy? Now, that I believe is also a separate argument, because if you look at his legacy, again, I compare to other sports, you probably do need that gold medal to help your legacy. And I'm thinking about the NBA. I'm thinking about Steph Curry, Carmelo, or LeBron, Jordan. They got their gold medals for Team USA as well as their championships. Those help big time. Now, I'm not sure whether Aaron Judge is going to get his championship with the Yankees. There is no evidence to suggest that's going to happen anytime soon. So, probably would help if he does get a gold medal with Team USA to help his legacy a little bit further. Then when you're talking about popularity between him and Ohtani, he is as good, if not a better player than Ohtani. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think Ohtani is incredible, but I think Aaron Judge is just as good.
Yeah.
I think the difference is how they're marketed.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
And also, to jump on that, it also helps when you win. And this is where you do tie in what the Yankees are doing with this. This is where Brian Cashman has to hold himself responsible, because worldwide, people would be talking about Aaron Judge in a higher esteem than Ohtani if the Yankees were the ones winning the World Championships.
True.
But they're not getting that opportunity. Why? And it's nothing to do with Aaron Judge. It's everything to do with the front office and their miscalculations, their mismanagement, poor roster moves, poor roster decisions, making excuses for all of the above, and their continued failure in October, right? And so that's the difference, right? So yeah, you look at the past Yankees, and they are held at an incredible esteem because they win championships. But Aaron Judge is not winning a championship, so you could be looking at him in a very similar light as Don Mattingly, one of the greatest ever to do it. Unfortunately, he's just not been giving any help. And this is where it's the Yankees' responsibility. Yankees need to give Aaron Judge a bit more of a help, I'll be honest. And I think that has a lot to do with the where they're both held right now, worldwide. Ohtani is held in a higher esteem than Aaron Judge, and a lot of it is because Ohtani wins championships with his team. And Aaron Judge is not getting that opportunity. It's partly his responsibility, but it's mostly the responsibility of the Yankees' failures as an organization, which they hate to admit. And until they start admitting where they're going wrong and self-auditing, then this will be a continued cycle. And then you're going to look past Aaron Judge's career going, what could have been? And it shouldn't be a what could have been. It should be celebrated as championships and gold medals and this and that and the other thing, but it's the Yankees' responsibility to do better by him, not him doing better by the Yankees. So he's done everything to help the Yankees.
That is true. I totally agree. And Donald, you said it right. You got to separate the two, right? And also this is his only year, the only time he's probably going to do the WBC. I don't see him doing it in 3 years. In 3 years, you're talking about 36, 37 years old. I don't think he's going to be a part of it in 3 years. He might be. You never know. I mean, the guy's been, Aaron Judge, right, for the last few years now. But there is going to be a time where even Aaron Judge is going to become human. He's going to start to decline. Hopefully it's not soon. But you know what? He's 33, 34. It's coming. And it's coming much sooner than some of us want to see. But unfortunately, it's going to happen, right? It's Father Time catches up to all of us, right? And unfortunately, too, or fortunately, he plays for the Yankees. So he's held in a higher standard, right? And now you're on this, dream team, quote unquote. I don't consider it the dream team like it was in 92, where, they were playing against a bunch of nobodies and they were the greatest team ever formed, right? So it's definitely not that. But they're still this dream team and they still are the favorite going into it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know if he has to win for his legacy, but it sure is going to help because, he's going to be a Hall of Famer regardless.
Yeah.
He's going to get the number retired. He's going to have, all that. He's already got that. That's already cemented. But really to put him into that, that talk of champion and all that, like Donald was saying that Ohtani's in, he's got to win. And yeah, can the Yankees give him some more help? Sure. Without a doubt. But
Yeah.
It is what it is. And at some point, the guys around him have to step up. And I'm not blaming him for them not stepping up, but they have to also step up as well, as long as, as much as he does. So
right, you look at Team USA right now. He's one of the only guys that's showing up.
Right, exactly. Well, not last night, but up until last night,
Yeah.
And just to put a button on this whole Ohtani Judge thing, Ohtani is worldwide because he's a phenom in terms of he's a pitcher and he's a designated hitter. But when you look at them statistically, when you put them as hitters side by side, by far statistically, Judge is the superior hitter.
Right.
And so you could say, okay, but Judge gets more reps than Ohtani does. But you know what? The stats equalize that out. Statistically, he is the far superior hitter. And he doesn't get enough credit for that in this comparison thing. So, I think his international fame has to do with, wow, we've never seen anything like this before. Right. And it might be once in a few generations that you'll see it again. It doesn't mean that he's a better player. And, the stats don't lie about that.
I think we're lucky to have this conversation about Ohtani and Judge because these are two players that are existing at the same time that are both historically significant to baseball. Probably not just in this era, but will be, as it will have a legacy. And if we, look down the list of topics I have for tonight, a legacy is another topic that I had picked out. CC Sabathia there was some news this week that came out on September 26th. The Yankees have announced they will hold a pregame ceremony to retire CC's number 52. My immediate and gut reaction to this news was, hell yeah. I mean, Sabathia doesn't fit the mold of a Yankee great. I guess. I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But he was a raging, reckless bull on the mound who channeled that energy into a career that was not just successful, but spectacularly so. To me, he was the motor of the 2009 World Series championship. He's in the Hall of Fame. But he was human. He was combative. He had some bad press. He was out of shape. And finally, he was a drunk. And he admittedly, but what makes him great is the way he handled these things, way he handled his career in the face of adversity. He became sober. He's an excellent, trusted ambassador of the Yankee organization now. And then comes Phil Mushnick. Lynn, do you want to introduce us to Phil Mushnick, perhaps? Or
I'd be so glad to introduce the world to Phil Mushnick. And I have a dream that he's listeing, or that somehow this will get to him, in fact. But first, can I say hello to everyone in the chat? Because the chat is brewing up in there. And unfortunately, I'm not able to comment. So I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. But let me tell you something about this article from the New York Post. I could probably put a period at the end of the sentence right there. But anywho, so let me tell you why Mushnick feels that, the Yankees are trying to sell seats by doing this. It's all a ploy for that one day when there's a ceremony and he gets his plaque revealed, and the Yankees need the ticket money, and that's why they're doing it. And they're really showing themselves as a desperate organization. One game isn't going to fix our budgetary woes. And by the way, take a look at how much our the money in house purse is. We know he doesn't spend it, but we are not a pauper of an organization, Mushnick. So let me tell you something. Is he worthy of it? Let's remember a few things about Sabathia, okay, Phil? There's things about his workhorse that you mentioned, Chris, his grit, and he was a workhorse. So how about that? He's only one of 15 pitchers in MLB history to record both 250 wins. He had 251 and 3,000 strikeouts. He had 3093 strikeouts. And among left-handers, which he's only one of 3 to reach those marks. And he joins Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton there. How about his Brewers run? Yeah, we're talking Yankees here, but let's look at his 208 run with the Brewers, where he pitched in the postseason a 1.65 ERA. And look, he's a Cy Young winner, Phil. He got the Cy Young in 2007. I don't know where you were in 2007. Maybe you were drunk, Phil. Maybe that's what your issue was. And in 2009, our last championship, woe is us. Who was the ALCS MVP that year? Oh, might it be CC Sabathia? Phil, give me a friggin' break. And is he a Yankee great? Come on. He was the hired gun that had his pistol loaded and got us that ring in 2009, almost single-handedly. And, by the time he retired, I'll end with this. He's in the top tier of the Yankees all-time leaderboard, Phil, of the New York Yankees. Do your homework and research if you're a reporter, Phil. ChatGPT could have told you this, Phil. 4th in strikeouts in the Yankees all-time leaderboard. He had 1,700 strikeouts. 7th in games started. He started 306 games, Mushnik. And he's 10th in wins of all-time Yankees with 134. So come at us again and write another article, Phil. I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think Lynn covered everything on CC Sabathia and what this guy said. So
on a skillet.
He definitely deserves to be in.
Yeah, but this guy, he wrecked CC. He said, this is Mushnick's argument. His high number is not memorable. This is so ignorant. He spent 8 years in Cleveland. I mean, I agree that should disqualify anybody, but
Wow. Sorry, Cleveland.
He was a slob. That was another one. He was a slob, and he uttered vulgarities as he grew too heavy to field his position.
Clutch your pearls harder, Phil.
Yeah, he was demonstrably angry with batters who made him feel. He was a pretty good pitcher whose ERA 4 times exceeded 4.70.
Is this guy a Yankee? He's not a Yankee fan, is he? This writer?
That's a good question.
I'm guessing no.
I'm guessing he's a Mets fan.
What not a Yankee. I don't know who, but it just doesn't make sense for him to go, to be the one guy that's going to call out, this decision. It just makes no sense.
Well, yeah, you're calling out a Hall of Famer. Like, you can say what you want, but the guy is a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He's in the Hall of Fame. And you spent an entire article destroying someone who's just literally in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So you're trying to argue that he doesn't deserve to get recognized by the Yankees, even though the player is literally in the Hall of Fame as a Yankee?
Right.
But
here's my question.
We retired too many numbers. We're going to run out of digits.
Yeah.
But
don't worry. We're not gonna see that. So don't worry.
Exactly, but it's not our problem. Right. First of all, it shows how elite the Yankees are.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. The great players we've had.
Exactly. And that's what should be celebrated.
Right.
Rather than arguing about a place on a wall.
That's
dumb.
Yeah.
It is a really dumb thing to argue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really could care less how many numbers you have on the wall.
Exactly.
That's not something for me to worry about. All it does is it says to me We are the most elite organization in sports. Because look at that. And that should be celebrated rather than arguing about, oh, that number doesn't deserve to be there and that number's too high. And what the number that
believe it. Too high.
It's weird. It is weird. For me, CC's about. Sorry, Chris.
I'm sorry. I want to ask you guys, what constitutes an all-time great Yankee?
Okay.
I mean, not all, because if you take a look at who's in Monument Park, they're not all Hall of Famers.
That's true.
So for you individually, what constitutes a Yankee great that belongs in Monument Park? You know?
I think a guy I think a player who's been there a decent amount of time. I would say at least 10 years, but then O'Neill's not there for 10 years, right? Or Reggie. But a guy who made an impact, obviously a great player during the regular season and also in the playoffs as well, right?
Yeah.
Mattingly is probably the one guy, obviously only got the one series in the playoffs to play, and he actually played great in that series against Seattle. But he's the only guy that hasn't won a championship, I think, right? That's that's had his number retired for the Yankees. So it's usually set aside for guys that have won championships here, Hall of Famers, right? Or special players like Donnie Baseball, right? So he's the only one that's outside of this realm, but we know how great Donnie was for us for all those years, right? So, and his number is retired for a reason. So, but yeah, listen. If CC didn't win a championship, and if he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, yeah, we could have this argument. But he checked the two most important boxes as a Yankee: winning a championship and being in the Hall of Fame. And then you add in, like Lynn said, the guy's in the top 10-ish of all of the Yankees' career stats, right? I think he's 10th in wins also. I mean, come on. Only the third lefty to get 250 wins.
Yep.
And over 3,000 strikeouts, right? And the other two guys are Steve Carlton and Randy Johnson, two of the all-time greatest, left-handed pitchers. So maybe the two greatest left-handed pitchers next to Koufax, right? So, yeah, I mean, come on. Guys like this, I think, but he's an old guy, I think, too. He's been writing for a long time.
Yeah.
Just look at the clicks. Like some people just...
He should know better.
Yeah.
And he should retire his own damn number.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly, Lynn. 100%.
Yeah, the way I would characterize it's fluid, but I would tend to look at world championships as one of the bigger precursors. Definitely length of service. And then also a third one, you would need to have like several outstanding achievements, whether MVPs, Cy Youngs, or breaking some records of some kind as a Yankee. And if you put all those things together, and then another thing would be if you're a key cog, to a side, you know what I'm saying? So obviously Paul O'Neill didn't have the MVPs and all that stuff for the Yankees, but he was a key cog, I mean, like you couldn't win a championship without him. He was a key cog, you know what I'm saying? Plus he had the championship. So obviously that's why he's there. You can't really imagine the Yankee dynasty without Paul O'Neill. So it goes 2 and 2, you know what I'm saying? So anyone that was in the Yankee dynasty over a period of time, I think deserves to be there. Right. But how CC, and then when you think about Mattingly and then soon to be Judge and then possibly even Garrett Cole, how it all fits in. Well, it kind of depends because obviously there's a very good chance that Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole don't win a championship in their careers as Yankees, and that would suck severely. So then you would have to think, are they going to be key cogs? Well, yes, they are. Have they broken records? Yes, they have. You know what I'm saying? And have they got MVPs and Cy Youngs? Yes, they do. So I would argue Garrett Cole will probably have his number retired as a Yankee, and Aaron Judge will too, obviously. Don Mattingly deserved it because that he carried that team by himself, as Aaron Judge is doing laterally. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of view retired numbers. And as for CC, would I retire his number? Maybe not immediately. I probably wouldn't rush to it. But am I gonna cry and abuse the guy because he got in? No. You know, it didn't even like come to my thought process to rip him. Why? He carried us in 2009. What he did for Milwaukee was unbelievable. I watched every start of his, and he basically pitched every single day in the playoffs, complete games. That man was unbelievable. So for Mushnick, that miserable fuck, to talk about his weight and the way that he talked to people, that weight didn't seem to have a problem when he was hitting 96, 97 on the gun, striking everybody out and pitching complete game shutouts. And he did field his position fine, by the way, Mushnick. And also, he could hit. He was actually a very good hitter.
Yes,
hey, forget that. He was a very good hitter. He was a very good athlete, despite his size.
Yeah.
Just like David Wells. David Wells was a slob and a drunk, but guess what? He was amazing fielding his position and an amazing fielder, amazing pitcher, and he pitched complete games and he pitched a perfect game. Right?
Yep.
So I don't give a fuck what they look like. Right? It's what their contribution was. CC's contribution was peerless in 2009. Then he carried it forward in 2010. And one of the great things I'll say about CC is it's very easy to be to look great when you're dominating and pitching complete game shutouts and having a 2 ERA as he did in his first couple of years as Yankees, putting up basically pitching like 33 starts every single time, never getting hurt, carrying his team. It's very easy to do that, right? And be happy about that. But how about when you lost your stuff and then you have a personal difficulty like being an alcoholic and then going to recovery, coming out of that and then learning how to pitch again, becoming a finesse pitcher rather than a power pitcher, and still putting his team on his back once he was ready to go again. That speaks to a great man right there. That's a tough man. That takes a hell of a lot. And it takes a heck of a lot because there's been a hell of a lot of people that have suffered from addiction that have allowed that addiction to overcome them. Didn't overcome him. And he deserves a hell of a lot of credit. So for Mushnick to talk about him in such unflattering terms, he should be ashamed of himself and he should have his writing credentials revoked. And and he shouldn't be taken seriously again. I'll be quite serious about that. I think that there's certain things as a writer, because I write on web and I take it seriously. I think there's a certain way that you carry yourself when you write, and you don't make it personal. And he made it personal, and he should be ashamed of himself.
And I wanted to just say for myself, I think you guys have been Yankee fans for probably a lot longer than I have. I've been a Yankee fan since I met my husband, probably really a serious Yankee fan, not until about 2009. Even though I sat there during all the core 4 years, I was a Cub fan, and I was like, stop yelling about the Yankees in my ear. But anyway, and here I am now, a big Yankee fan.
We forgive you.
Yeah, my Cubs sloughed off to the side. However, they aren't sloughed anywhere. But that's beside the point. But anyway, Monument Park amazes me. I cannot even imagine how what an enormous honor that it must be for a player to receive. Is there another stadium that has a graveyard, essentially? I mean, kids used to think they were actually buried there out in Monument Park, because it actually was on the field for a while. It wasn't until they moved the fences back. So it's a really wild concept anyway, Monument Park. But I can only assume that it represents that the fans, the Yankee fans, love and respect for a player of outstanding skill and performance who transcends time to become iconic. And that's purple.
Have you been, Chris? How many times have you been to Monument Park?
I've never been to Monument Park. I've only looked at it from across the stadium. I need to go.
You have to go.
I have to
go there. Go to the museum. You know,
yeah,
you got to take it all in.
Why have you not gone yet? What happened? What's happened?
I don't know. I mean, I'd gone to
all the way around the horn, all the way to the other side.
Yeah, I do. You're right. It's a good point. I need to do that because
you're in the short porch now, so you're right there.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Now there's really no excuse.
Exactly.
You're looking right over it.
Well, as soon as I go, I'll make a report.
Yes.
I want to add
the first time I went was in the old stadium, the old Monument Park in Center. Yeah.
Much more.
My grandfather took me during batting practice, so the balls would be hitting the netting and stuff like that. It was very cool.
Wow.
And it was just like it was like an outdoor museum, and it was just spectacular. It felt more like it held more reverence in the old stadium because you're literally walking on the exact grass that frickin' like Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, etc. Mickey Mantle walked on. So it felt like you're walking on something that like a church, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're walking on something like
well, it was the cathedral.
Like a cathedral, exactly. And so it held a certain reverence. It doesn't hold the same reverence in the new one because the new one's kind of like a shopping mall. But and also they don't do a very good job of advertising where it is. Like it's kind of like hidden. You have to go like down like stairs. And
you got to follow the signs. And
they should do a better job of like advertising to get down there. But once you're there, it's still very, very cool. I went with Uncle T a couple years ago.
I will definitely do that.
We enjoyed that.
A better way, get one of those stadium tours. They're not that expensive. I think they're like $40, maybe $50.
Really?
For someone who hasn't seen it, you could they take you to the museum there. So it's kind of cool. You know,
I've never been in the museum. That's something I would like to do.
You know what? The old stadium, on the stadium tour, they took you into the clubhouse, which was awesome.
Shit.
The new one, they didn't do it. They just kind of walked down. I sat on the bench. It was awesome in the old stadium. The new stadium, I guess you can't do any of that.
Bro, I would have fainted, man.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, that would have been insane. No, it is special. It is special. Chris, get over there, man. You got to do it.
Get over there, and let's just say that CC belongs in Monument Park.
Of course he does. No argument.
Yeah,
exactly. And Mushnick, we're not subscribing. Okay, and we wanted to talk a little bit today about the Yankee infield. This has been a puzzle to me, and I'm sure a puzzle to all of you. And I want to get your thoughts on the experiment with Ryan McMahon. Now, it's kind of been a couple of days since that happened. I realize I'm a little behind the time, so if you guys have talked about it, Donald, maybe you could kind of bring us up to speed what your thoughts were.
Well, it just seems a little. I mean, obviously, the first argument is it's spring, so all you're doing is really seeing if he can maybe add that to his arsenal if ever there's a point during the regular season that you might need him in an emergency. That's the argument that you would have as to why you would maybe try him out there.
Right.
My beef with that is the Yankees have a terrible habit under Brian Cashman of treating every position like it's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Like they love to do that. Like they love to put somebody in their second position. It's their favorite thing on earth. Heck, you're even looking at it with Rice. Catching is his favorite position. You're playing with first base. They're very good at it. McMahon, shortstop. He's not a shortstop. He's a Gold Glove third baseman. IKF, he was a Gold Glove third baseman. They forced him at shortstop. Couldn't play shortstop. Gaslit us that he could play shortstop. Then they moved him to center field at his request because he couldn't play shortstop, even though they gaslit us that he could play shortstop. So there's that. And then you look at Gleyber Torres. He was a phenomenal second baseman. The Yankees were like, you're a shortstop. Couldn't play shortstop. Gaslit us that he could play shortstop. Couldn't play shortstop. Kept him as shortstop. Then last minute went, oh, actually, you're second base. They do this all the freaking time. I also have a memory that they were going to do that with Chapman. They were looking at Chapman prior to his move from the A's, they were thinking, oh, maybe we could acquire and make him a shortstop, even though he was the third baseman. The Yankees treat every position like it's arbitrary. Jason Dominguez is not a left fielder, forced him to play left field, even though he's a center fielder. They do this all the freaking time. This is why their development sucks. Because it actually hurt their players' development by pigeonholing them in a position where they're not comfortable playing. They did that with Jazz Chisholm last year.
Yep.
They told him, you are our second baseman. Under every circumstance on earth, you're still going to be our second baseman. And he was like, cool. And he's like, then they were like, you do not need to prepare for third base because you're going to be second base. He's like, great. And then 6 weeks later, oh, you're playing third base. And you're going to be there for a month or two. Or maybe as long as we want you to be there. And he's like, that's what they do. They treat every position like it's arbitrary, and then they take no responsibility for when it goes wrong.
Right.
And this is a common complaint I have with the Yankee front office, which they take no responsibility for. Then they use the media to yell at us, telling us we're bad fans for calling them out for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just cooking right now. And that's the facts. That is the absolute facts. So is it a big deal that a man's playing shortstop? No. But on the grand scheme of things, when you realize that the Yankees do this to everybody, then kind of it is, and it needs to stop. Keep him at third base. There is a million dudes that you've picked up that could play shortstop on a pinch during spring training, but you're not doing that because you need to be the smartest guys in the room. Cashman, you are not the smartest guy in the room. I'm sorry, man. I know you think you're fantastic. You are not the smartest guy in the room. Okay. Thanks.
So let me so Donald, you spoke about some of the fairly random seeming acquisitions we got in the off season, right? So I want to talk about DeJong for a minute.
Okay.
So why not? And let's just face it, in terms of McMahon, all the credentials in the world in terms of his defense, but he is not it at the plate, right? No. I mean, he's just not. He's not both sides right now, and he's working on it. And spring training being what it is, there is some signs of improvement there. But with DeJong, so he has had good time at third base.
I'm still here.
He's a power bat, so he has both. So yes, okay. So then they're going to have to cough up that $1 million contract if they do activate him that way. But and I'm not advocating for McMahon, switching positions. But why wouldn't we take DeJong in so that we could compensate with the bat there? And his arm strength is phenomenal. But McMahon's is pretty well, but he ranked fourth in the AL for third baseman when he was with the White Sox and the Royals, and that's exactly why they won't use him, right? But let's think about DeJong as an option here. Front office won't, but I just wanted to say his name.
I mean, if McMahon couldn't hit at third, he's not going to hit at shortstop.
Well.
Whatever.
I don't think it's a matter of that. I think it's more about just in case they need someone at short, right? If Caballero's there and he gets hurt during the game, it's all about the bench, right? Like who's going to be on the bench? That's what it comes down to. Who's on the bench for opening day when we think about it, right? It's going to be the fourth outfielder, whoever that's going to be. Let's say it's going to be Grichuk, right? He'll be the fourth outfielder, so that's one. The catcher. Most likely, it's going to be JC, right? Unless they think Rice is going to be the backup catcher and starting first. I don't think they're going to go that crazy. So let's say it's JC. The third one is going to be who else is going to be on the bench? Fourth outfielder, a backup infielder, right?
Well, there's Cabrera, Rosario
will be the backup infielder.
Rosario is the third. So it's really the fourth guy on the bench is going to be the big thing. Like, who are they going to carry? Are they going to carry
Rosario, the backup catcher? That's right. 3.
And you're forgetting about Wells at catcher.
Well, no, he's the starter. I'm saying the 4 bench guys. The 4 bench guys.
The bench for me will be Rosario, Goldschmidt.
Right, and Goldschmidt. So that's your bench. So I think they want a guy who could possibly play short in a pinch, right? And I think they were trying him. And I'm happy they're trying him now and not during the regular season, right? They're trying it now. It doesn't look great. So you know what? Let's not think about doing that. They got Caballero, and that's going to be it for shortstop. And maybe Rosario, in case there's an injury. And then we got, you hate to say the guy's name, but Volpe will be here within a few weeks, probably.
Well, that kind of goes to the point of why it's kind of pointless, though, because you go to Oswaldo Cabrera that can play short. You go to Rosario that can play short. You got Volpe that can play short. You got my boy that can play short coming. So then that's 4. So we really need to try McMahon over there. Plus, you've got all those other infielders that we've given spring training invites. This seemed a little pointless.
Yeah. Listen, and I like Schumann. I thought Schumann is a good guy because he plays the infield and the outfield. So he's like,
who is this Schumann? I missed him, and then I had to Google him, and was like, who the hell is this guy?
He was on the A's. He's like a utility guy, basically. He's like Cabrera. Play everywhere. Is he a great hitter? No, but he can play everywhere, and he's a good guy coming off the bench. Hopefully, he doesn't become, the starting something, because then there's been a couple injuries.
I don't want people to forget that Cabrera was doing fairly solid at third base before he got injured last season.
Yeah,
and I don't want that lost in the sauce.
How is he coming along? Has he had any appearances yet?
Yeah, I think he's played. He's played a couple of games, not much, but he's played, 2 or 3 games, I think, in the last week. So
I think he'll be ready before Volpe will be ready.
Well, he committed an error in both games.
You think he'll make the big league roster, Chris?
Who? Which one? I'm sorry.
Chris probably not. Sorry, Chris probably didn't make the roster.
I said that again. Who's going to make the roster? Is that what you're saying?
Do you think Oswaldo will make the roster?
I don't think so. I think they're going to use the excuse of he needs more time to rehab, or because he just started playing games this week, I think, or at the end of last week he just started. So he's like 2 weeks behind. So maybe that's how they're going to use that excuse to send him down.
I might get tickets for Scranton because that team looks far more interesting than the Yankee team.
Yes, amen.
There, Spencer Jones, just
word.
Yep.
Come on up, Donald. We'll go together.
Look at it this way: we got the great depth, right? Like if there's an injury, we know we got, Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez coming up for the outfield or DH, right? For the infield, you got Volpe down there soon. He's going to be down there at some point. And Orlando Cabrera, Oswaldo Cabrera is going to be down there too. So, you got decent depth for the first time in a long time. We got pretty good depth, and along with pitching too, right? Because you got LaGrange and Rodriguez, phenomenal.
And we have Heel bouncing back big time.
Why did they send Rodriguez Cruz down?
Yeah.
Why did they demote Rodriguez Cruz? I think he should have been in the bullpen.
Which guy?
Rodriguez Cruz.
Oh, yeah, no, I maybe they want to keep him stretched out as a starter. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of. Because he should be in the bullpen.
Yeah, I thought he should have been in the bullpen. I don't like our bullpen. Even without him. I thought he should be a lock in there.
We'll say, listen, I don't think anything's set in stone yet for the bullpen. Other than the top 4 or 5 names. The final, I would say, 2 spots are probably still open. So he might make it. There's a possibility.
He did get reassigned to minor league camp, though, along with Spencer Jones. So I probably.
Oh, right. That's right. He did. You're right.
Yeah. So probably.
Who do we really have in the pen that we rely on other than Bednar and Cruz right now?
That's it.
You got
What
Duvall.
about Hill? What about Tim Hill?
Tim Hill's in there. Duvall. That's 1 4.
We didn't rely on Duvall last year, though. We couldn't bench.
Yeah. Let's hope he's better. I think you know what, the guy that's been pitching pretty good I know it's spring training, but Jake Bird's been pretty solid. Hedrick, the lefty. I think I'm saying his name
I
right.
can't stand Jake Bird. I cannot stand him.
Yesterday.
God, I can't stand Jake Bird. That sucks.
Yeah, they were good yesterday.
And Paul Blackburn.
Oh, I hate him.
Hey guys, Italy's up 5-0, just to let you know. So that basically secures USA moving on.
That's good news. All right, guys, by way of a wrap up, I wanted to ask each of you to give me your boldest prediction for the Yankees for 26. Who's going to have their Trent Grisham year? Who's going to be, get all the money and et cetera?
All right, I'll give you the easy one.
Yeah.
I think Ben Rice explodes this year. I think he hits 40 home runs. I think Wells takes a little bit of a step up. I think playing with the Dominican Republic guys, that's a great team. I think something's going to rub off on him there. I think he's going to have a little bit of a better, not 40 home runs, but I think he's going to hit a little bit better than what he hit, like 220 last year or 210. So I think he'll be a little bit better too. And my bold prediction, I know Donald ain't going to agree with me, but I think the Yankees are going to the World Series this year. That's my boldest.
I think it's bold. I think they could get 94 wins or 92 wins or whatever and still not go to the World Series.
It's a tough division, right? So I don't know if they're not running away with the division. It's going to be
right.
It's going to be super tight all year with like those 4 teams are going to be ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
All 4 teams are going to be good. So yeah, it's going to be a tough. It ain't going to be easy, but I think with their pitching, and the depth that they got there, I think, and Judge is going to be Judge. So I think they go back to the World Series.
Okay.
I like it.
Lynn,
give us yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going bold, and I'm
bold or go home.
That's it.
That's it. And I'm glad that there's a screen in between us, because I know that you'd be throwing tomatoes at my face, but I don't care. I'm going bold.
I can guess.
Let's see if you're right, Chris.
Something about Stanton.
That's it. That's my partner.
I knew
partner.
It. Stanton's gonna have a comeback here. Oh my God, you guys.
Carla, let me
2 bombs tonight, by the way, Lynn.
What?
2 bombs tonight.
Oh my God.
So let me
tell you. Opening up bags of chips, he hit 2 home runs today. So
okay, but let me finish with my boldness, because I'm seldom bold. Let me shine in my boldness.
Lynn when she's bold.
I'm getting out of my shy, demure personality for a minute. He is gonna hit his 500 hit home runs this year.
All right.
He only needs 47 to hit 500. But hey, this is my bold prediction, Chris.
Okay.
He only needs 47 to make it. Aaron Judge made a 62 home run in a season. Okay. Apples to oranges, perhaps. But he is going to get those 47. That's my bold prediction. And you could come at me in October when the postseason hits. But he's getting to that Hall of Fame by hook or by crook. And let's face it, he's put together with paper mache and glue right now.
Right.
And this has to happen now if we want him in the Hall of Fame. So that's my bold prediction.
That is bold, Lynn.
I like it.
I stick with it.
What is your bold prediction?
All right, bold predictions. I'm predicting Aaron Judge will clear 50. I'm going to go between 51 and 55 home runs this year.
Okay.
It's going to be a beast of a year for Aaron Judge. Lynn, I'm on your wavelength with Stanton. The only thing is Aaron Boone said that he's going to miss 1 in every 3 games. Thus, it's almost statistically impossible for him to get 47 home runs if he misses 1 in every 3 games.
I was under qualifier. Yeah, you're right. I'm making that prediction based on he will be a more regular DH as he should be. He's certainly not going to be seeing any field time. So
let's hope not. Let's hope not.
So yeah, I'm going to have him hit 30. I think he will hit 30.
I like it.
Because he was right there last year. In fact, he would have hit 40 if he played a requisite number of games. Like, he was crazy good last year. So I think 30 is safe with him. Judge about 55. So, and then my breakout year is Rice. I predict that Grisham's going to have a massive bad year. And then we're going to have some serious arguments about Spencer Jones replacing him. And I also predict that Spencer Jones is going to rake, but also he level out in AAA because there's only so much you can do in AAA without reaching that next level. So that's another thing. He needs to be in the next level this year. If he's not, it's a massive L on the Yankees.
Right.
I predict that the Yankees will win 89 games and finish either second or third in the AL East. And they will lose in the division series as last year. But that the only thing I'll say to that is if we get to the trade deadline and Brian Cashman gets his finger out of his ass and then decides, you know what, I'm not a moron and I can actually acquire some stars. If he does acquire a star that can hit from the right side and add it to the lineup, then I'll happily revisit that. But until then, I've got the Yankees barely winning 89 games and absolutely losing in the first round of the playoffs, 100%. Any other bold predictions? I think those are the main ones. My boy, my favorite shortstop, not Volpe. He's going to have a great year, and it's going to make the argument to keep him at shortstop once Volpe's ready very loud. And it's going to be a big debate, and it's going to be a full-on war when the Yankees do call up Anthony Volpe, and Twitter is going to explode, and Aaron Boone's going to have to answer for it. Brian Cashman's going to have to answer for it, and it's going to be chaos. That's my prediction.
Ooh,
100% would be chaos. Wow.
That'll be the same thing with Spencer Jones and Trent Grisham. There's going to be a lot of things that Aaron Boone is going to have to do the company talk for, as will Michael Kay, which he loves to do. Because that happens every year. Every year there's one guy that has a disgraceful year. Last year was Volpe. This year I expect it to be Volpe, so it's going to be something different. I expect it to be Trent Grisham, but I don't know who it's going to be exactly. But one Yankee is going to have a disgraceful year, and there's going to be a whole lot of like fighting and bitching and airwaves yelling. And YouTube podcasts about this guy sucks, that guy sucks, fuck you. It's gonna be that I promise. That's not even a hot take. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, no kidding.
Manage your expectations always.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you?
Well, my bold prediction is about Cam Schlittler, a name you have to say very carefully. Love that kid, and I think he's going to lead the team in ERA. And maybe even get a Cy Young mention. I don't know. I think that
be bold, Chris.
Well, all right. That's my bold prediction. I really liked Schlittler. He came out of nowhere last year and shocked us all. He's like, wow, where has this kid been? I never even heard that name. And suddenly he was in there, just blowing us away. So that's my bold prediction for him. And you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight for my inaugural episode. I had a blast. I hope that you in the chat, I want to let people know in the chat, I had an error up here and I wasn't able to get into the chat myself either. There's some kind of error here that I'll look into for next time. And I'm hoping my format will probably be either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to actually shoot for the Yankee off day once the season starts, I think, because I think it's going to be more fun to have a show where we talk about what happened and what's going to happen. And we'll do that. That'll be our perspective from the short porch. So thank you for joining me, everyone. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment, come back. And thank you very much for all of you. And Donald, what?
Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Thank you. I got to memorize that. All right, you guys. Wear your pinstripes with pride and what?
Play hard.
And play hard. All right. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.